Quite welcome.
Good evening. Welcome to your Tuesday, May 7th, 2013, 6 p.m. meeting. If you wouldn't mind, please stand as we have an invocation and a pledge of allegiance.
Dear Father, help us to trust in you as we carry out our responsibility of public service. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. We have a good house of guests and visitors and friends here tonight, so glad that you were able to make it. Start off, first order of business, is there a motion to approve the minutes and the proclamations for this evening?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. With that, Madam Clerk, if you wouldn't mind, we'll start with our first proclamation for National Community Action Month.
Resolution 2013-65. A resolution proclaiming the month of May 2013 as National Community Action Month in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. Community action agencies were created when the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964 was signed into law. Community action agencies have a 49-year history of promoting self-sufficiency for those with limited income. Community action agencies have made an essential contribution to individuals and families in Florida by providing them with innovative and cost-effective programs. Community action agencies are needed as major participants in the reform of the welfare system as we know it. Welfare reform in Florida has benefited from the state's partnership with community action agencies. Those with limited income continue to need opportunities to improve their lives and their living conditions, thus ensuring that all citizens are able to live in dignity. Florida and the entire United States must continue to wage war on poverty by providing support and opportunities for all citizens in need of assistance. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby proclaim the month of May 2013 as National Community Action Month in St. Lucie County, Florida, in recognition of the hard work and dedication of St. Lucie County's community action agencies. This board urges the citizens of St. Lucie County to join in the special observance. Passed and duly adopted the 7th day of May 2013.
Wonderful. Barbara, why don't you come up and join us here? Hello, how are you doing? Good, good. We have a little proclamation for you here. Okay. Anybody else want to join her? Tell us a few things. Here you go.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Mowry and Commissioners. I am Barbara Felton, as you all know. I'm also the board's appointee and vice chair of the Treasure Coast Community Action Agency. On behalf of the Community Action Agency, I want to thank you for this proclamation designating the month of May as National Community Action Month in St. Lucie County. The Community Action Agency is a tri-county advisory board that includes St. Lucie County, which is the leading county, Martin County, and Okeechobee County. The agency provides incentives towards self-sufficiency and assists a number of families in the communities who otherwise would not benefit from the services we offer. In fiscal year 2012, the agency assisted 756 households, 144 seniors, 101 people with disabilities, and 668 youth. Also supported 60,000 information and referrals, distributed 6,000 plus food boxes, 4,000 plus transportation trips, community gardens, and 450 people received free tax preparation help. Again, we said thank you for this proclamation and for your continued support to our organization.
Good job.
Excellent. With that, we're going to move on to National Safe Boating Week. With that, Madam Clerk, please read the proclamation.
Resolution 2013-66, a resolution proclaiming the week of May 18, 2013 through May 24, 2013 as National Safe Boating Week in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. Water-related recreational activities are vital elements in the lives of Florida citizens, and the state's 8,426 miles of saltwater tidal coastline, over 3 million acres of inland lakes, and 1,700 miles of rivers and streams provide for many of the needed outlets for recreation and relaxation. Recreational boating is fun and enjoyable, and Floridians are fortunate to have sufficient resources to accommodate the wide variety of pleasure boating demands. Our waterways can become crowded at times and be a place of chaos and confusion. While being a marvelous source of recreation, boating to the unprepared can be a risky sport. On average, 700 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the United States, and nearly 70% of these are fatalities caused by drowning. The vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment, and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. A significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they'd worn their life jackets. It's a simple task that has the potential to reduce terrible loss in lives. Modern life jackets are more comfortable, more attractive, and more wearable than styles of years past, and deserve a fresh look by today's boating public. Knowledgeable and skills are important in reducing human error and improving judgment. If people are aware of the risk, they are likely to take the precautionary measure to protect themselves, their friends, and family. We must continue to spread the message of boating safety, and not only during National Safe Boating Week, but also throughout the entire year. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board supports the goals of the North American Safe Boating Campaign and does hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through 24th, 2013 as National Safe Boating Week in St. Lucie County, Florida. This board urges the citizens of St. Lucie County who boat it to wear it and practice safe boating habits. Passed and duly adopted this 7th day of May, 2013.
Thank you. With that, we have Commander Joe Walsh joining us, along with Dave McCullough. Great. Hey, Commander. How are you doing? Things okay? Good.
Great.
Had my assistant help me out here.
Great.
Good job. That's right. Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Tell us a few things.
Okay.
Mike's yours.
Commissioner Mowry and the Commission, I'm Joseph Walsh, the commander of the Fort Pierce Coast Guard Auxiliary Unit. Thank you for having us here tonight to receive the proclamation about boating safety, National Safe Boating Week. Down here in Florida, boating capital of the world, really boating is 365 days a year, and as you did say in the reading, we also lead in the number of, unfortunately, boating deaths. We're committed to boating safety, boat safety education, boat safety checks, and environmental protection. Our flotilla has been serving the St. Lucie County area for over 71 years. We look forward to continuing that service, and thank you very much for having us here tonight.
Good
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a rather full night, as you can tell, for our proclamations. It seems like April and May tend to be busy months for us, so we appreciate your patience as we work through these, because each one is important to us. See, we have a bunch of guys in green sitting in the back. You know you're going to want to join us for this next one, so Chief, we're looking forward to that. With that, we'll read Law Enforcement Week and the Law Enforcement Memorial. Madam Clerk, please read the proclamation.
Resolution 2013-67, a resolution proclaiming the week of May 12th through 18th, 2013 as Law Enforcement Week and designating May 15th, 2013 as Law Enforcement Memorial Day in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. The Congress and the President of the U.S. have designated May 15, 2013 as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as Law Enforcement Week. The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office has been constituted by the state of Florida to uphold the laws and play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of St. Lucie County. It is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their law enforcement agencies, and that members of our Sheriff's Office recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. The men and women of the law enforcement agencies of St. Lucie County unceasingly provide a vital public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby proclaim May 12 through 18, 2013 as Law Enforcement Week in St. Lucie County and calls upon all citizens and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe that week with appropriate ceremonies commemorating law enforcement and detention deputies, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in doing so have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. This board further encourages all citizens to observe May 15, 2013 as Law Enforcement Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community, or have lost their lives or become disabled in the performance of their duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Passed and duly adopted the 7th day of May, 2013.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That, if the board wouldn't mind joining me, and we're going to do a picture here. Obviously, this past year has been much more challenging for the department. It's been one that's made this particular memorial much more worthy and important to us as we consider that. That, Chief? You can have your officers join us.
We certainly can.
I'd love to have them join us as well, and we'll do a picture up front.
Over here.
Just go up front here for a photograph. Come on, guys. Fit us all in? There you go, John. Yes.
Chairman Mowry and members of the Commission, on behalf of Sheriff Mascara and the men and women of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, we want to thank you for this proclamation in recognition of Law Enforcement Memorial Week. As was pointed out, this was unfortunately a tough year for us here in St. Lucie County with the senseless murder of Sergeant Gary Morales on February 28th of this year, which is all the more reason that this is so important to all of us that you recognize this here today. On Monday, the 13th, at 10 o'clock in the morning, or 10:30, we will be laying a wreath in front of the Sheriff's Office at 4700 West Midway Road in recognition of Law Enforcement Memorial Week. Of course, you're all invited, as is the public. And then on May 16th, Thursday evening, at St. Bernadette's Catholic Church in St. Lucie West at 7 o'clock, will be the county-wide memorial service. Recognize all of those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our community. And that event is very, very special to all of us in law enforcement. And again, we would urge and welcome your attendance and the public as well to be there for that event. But again, thank you very much for the recognition. We certainly appreciate it. And we just would hope that everyone keep Sergeant Morales' family in their hearts and prayers during this very difficult week. Thank you very much.
Joe.
Thank you. With that, we're going to turn still to the department. We want to do the County Correction Officers Week. With that, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2013-68. A resolution proclaiming May 6, 2013 through May 12, 2013 as St. Lucie County Correction Officers Week in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. The week of May 6, 2013 through May 12, 2013 has been designated as National Correction Officers Week. Correction officers are responsible for the infinitely difficult task of providing for the care and custody of approximately 1,216 inmates held each day in the county's detention facilities. Correction officers play a vital role in protecting the rights of the public to be safeguarded from criminal activity, and to the operation of a detention facility represents a crucial component of the criminal justice system. This board wishes to acknowledge Sheriff Ken J. Mascara and the 220 sworn certified correction officers of the Department of Detention. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby proclaim May 6, 2013 through May 12, 2013 as St. Lucie County Correction Officers Week in St. Lucie County, Florida. This board urges the citizens of St. Lucie County to recognize our correction officers for the fine job they're doing in protecting the rights of the citizens of St. Lucie County. Passed and duly adopted this 7th day of May, 2013.
With that, I've actually asked Major Ty to join us along with Chief Wilson. In particular, I think a lot of people think about the jail and they look at certain aspects in terms of our community and what's going on. One of the things that often gets overlooked is what Chief Mascara, as well as the officers that are working out there, do to try and provide for a reduction in the recidivism rate. And that's those that have come out of the system that do not commit a crime in terms of their return. We've looked at the rates across the state, and I think we're at, what, about 34% is the state average for the recidivism rate. And through the 4 main programs that the Chief, through Major Ty with Chief Wilson, have been able to implement, is that they have been able to create 4 programs, one of which, the culinary program, they're down to a 7% recidivism rate, the rate of return for those people that have committed a crime that will ever return, 7%. So that's really phenomenal to see what they've been able to do. Thus, it keeps our costs low. And even through Indian River State College, I wanted Major Ty just to talk about these just for a moment as well, just to, again, toot his horn and to toot the Sheriff and Chief's horn. But I think it's important for people to continue to hear what is going on from that aspect. Major. Go ahead.
Commission Chair, Mr. Mowry, and Commissioners, thank you very much. First, I have to commend the Commissioners for supporting us and the Sheriff, and most importantly, the men and women that work the floors of the jail every day. We see a lot of casualties come in, casualties from society. And it's really quite simple what we do. Everybody in this room, including myself, including the inmates of the jail, only want 2 things, and that's respect and dignity. We give them that. We offer the programs, but whether it's culinary, the spiritual program, the drug abuse dorm, we actually offer them a lot of self-discipline. The discipline to get up every morning and come to work. The discipline and self-respect that they so lack when they come into our custody. We're doing a great job. By far, the men and women at St. Lucie County Jail are the best in the state. We've been noted as the best of the state by inspectors that come in, and I just want to thank you for your support.
Just quickly, not to drag this on forever, but again, on behalf of the men and women of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, especially in this particular case, on behalf of those professionals that work in the Department of Detention, we want to thank the board for this proclamation. And as has been pointed out, we're very proud of the work that they do out there, and this is very important to us, so thank you.
Okay, changing gears from our law enforcement community to the legal community and those that help in that aspect. We have Law Day. With that, Madam Clerk, please read the proclamation.
Resolution 2013-69, a resolution proclaiming May 1st, 2013 as Law Day in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. Seeking to formally recognize the role that the rule of law plays in the foundation of a free, just, and safe society, May 1st was declared as Law Day by the United States Congress in 1958. Law Day continues to be a day of public acknowledgement of our nation's and the state of Florida's heritage of justice, liberty, and equality under the law. In honor of the 115th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation, the American Bar Association has declared the theme for Law Day 2013 as Realizing the Dream, Equality for All. The year 2013 also marks the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech in our nation's capital. This year's theme recognizes the inextricable link between freedom and equality, the importance of living up to the promise of equality under the law enshrined in our nation's founding documents, and the challenges that remain in realizing that ideal. All Americans are entitled to equal protection of the law and to the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby proclaim May 1st, 2013 as Law Day in St. Lucie County, Florida, and calls upon all residents, parents, children, teachers, businesses, and community leaders to participate in scheduled observances and celebrations of Law Day 2013, and use this occasion to preserve, strengthen, and honor our commitment to the rule of law and justice for all by participating in Law Day activities. Passed and duly adopted the 7th day of May 2013.
Thank you. With that, we have Jim Walker joining us this evening. How are you?
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Feel free to share with us.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, thank you very much. My name is Jim Walker. It's my privilege to be able to accept this fine proclamation on behalf of the St. Lucie County Bar Association, the trustees of the Rupert J. Smith Law Library, and the friends of the Rupert J. Smith Law Library. It was my fond intent originally to present you with a 30-minute acceptance speech, and at the rate that I normally proceed, it would have taken 2 hours. However, it occurred to me that I'm really preaching to the choir here, making that unnecessary, because this commission has, over the years, time and time again, demonstrated that there are few friends who are more devoted to the law than this county commission. Truly is the rule of law served well by this commission and its governance here in St. Lucie County. It's a wonderful privilege. I do think that it would be appropriate in observing the significance of the rule of law here to our society, to what makes us who we are, by referring to a brief quotation by Abraham Lincoln. Mr. Lincoln said, "Let reverence for the law be breathed by every American mother to the lisping baby that prattles on her lap. Let it be taught in schools, seminars, and in colleges. Let it be written in primers, spelling books, and in almanacs. Let it be preached from the pulpit, proclaimed in legislative halls, and enforced in the courts of justice. And in short, let it become the political religion of the nation." On behalf of these several organizations, again, I wish to thank this commission and ask that you keep up the wonderful work that you're doing here on behalf of the citizens of St. Lucie County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. With that, we're going to turn and make May the 4th through May the 12th as Travel and Tourism Week. With that, Madam Clerk, please read the proclamation.
Resolution 2013-70. A resolution proclaiming May 4th, 2013 through May 12th, 2013 as Travel and Tourism Week in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. Travel to and within the United States provides significant economic benefit for the nation, generating $2 trillion in economic output, with $855.4 billion spent directly by domestic and international travelers that spurred an additional $1.1 trillion in other industries. The travel industry is among the top 10 industries in the 48 states and supports 14.6 million jobs, including 7.7 million directly in the travel industry and 6.9 million in other industries, with 1 out of every 9 jobs in the U.S. depending on travel and tourism. Tourism in the state of Florida is #1 industry, responsible for welcoming 89.3 million visitors in 2012 that spent more than $71.3 billion, generating 23% of the state's sales tax revenue and employing over 1 million Floridians. The travel industry supports the interests of St. Lucie County, contributing to our employment, economic prosperity, international trade relations, peace, understanding, and goodwill. Travel can serve as a catalyst to help move the national and local economy forward. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby proclaim May 4th through 12th, 2013 as Travel and Tourism Week in St. Lucie County, Florida, and urges the citizens of St. Lucie County to join in this special observance with appropriate events, commemorations, and festivals. Passed and duly adopted this 7th day of May, 2013.
Thank you. With that, we have Charlotte Barley, and we have Commissioner Zadowski. He's going to join us as our TDC Director as well. How are you?
Good, how are you?
This has been an exciting week. We had the dedication service for our new airport terminal, and with that we had a phenomenal showing, very well orchestrated. I know John Wytrack is here, our airport manager, and your team did a fantastic job. So you talk about travel, tourism. I don't know what better thing we can have than that, and Chris as well. I know Chris spent a lot of time and effort getting things ready as well, so with that, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commission. I'm Charlotte Barley. I'm the Manager of Tourism and Venues for St. Lucie County. I wanted to highlight just a couple of things that I think make our county really special, a really special and unique place to visit. So I just wanted to give you a few little highlights. Frederick Douglass Beach on Hutchinson Island in Fort Pierce is one of the only places in the state of Florida where you can ride a horse on the beach. The nation's largest collection of tropical bonsai trees is housed right here at our very own Heathcote Botanical Gardens. PGA Village in Port St. Lucie is ranked among the nation's top 75 golf resorts. The Indian River Lagoon is the nation's most biologically diverse estuary. It has over 4,000 species of plants and animals, and it is truly at the epicenter of our boating and fishing recreation. It's also where the world record sea trout was caught, weighing in at over 17 pounds. Fort Pierce is home to the one and only Navy SEAL Museum. We have 21 miles of beaches, and almost half of these are public preservation, which is a very rare attribute compared to other Florida coastal communities. So we have a lot to be proud of here in St. Lucie County, and I want to thank you for recognizing how important tourism is and for issuing this proclamation. Thank you.
With that, we're going to turn to a special one here. With that, Madam Clerk, please read the proclamation for Jane Murray Brooks Park.
Resolution 2013-71. A resolution honoring Jane Murray Brooks by naming the west side of Dolman Park, which was purchased by St. Lucie County in the Save Our Coast program, Jane Murray Brooks Park, in recognition of her untiring work as a conservationist. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. Jane Dixon Murray was born on September 7, 1927 in Lexington, Virginia. She graduated from Duke University where she met John Brooks. They were married in August of 1948 and moved to Fort Pierce immediately thereafter. She and John had 2 daughters, 4 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Ms. Brooks devoted over 40 years of educating herself and others about the unique flora and fauna of St. Lucie County and the importance of preserving their natural habitats for future generations to enjoy. Over the years of environmental activism, she was a founding member of the Conservation Alliance of St. Lucie, president of the St. Lucie Audubon Society, board member of the Florida Audubon Society, board member of the Florida Ornithological Society, founding member and conservation chair of the Florida Native Plant Society, and president of the local chapter, board member of the Marine Resource Council, chairman of the St. Lucie County Land Acquisition Selection Committee, and a member of the St. Lucie County Environmental Advisory Committee. In 1989, she fought to preserve the Dolman property on Hutchinson Island in its natural state. She described it as a tropical maritime hammock, unique for its location. She cataloged the plant life exhaustively to support that description and the preservation effort. Over the years, she would say that enlisting the support of a wide variety of community members and organizations to save Dolman was her proudest accomplishment. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida, this board does hereby honor Ms. Jane Murray Brooks by naming the west side of Dolman Park as Jane Murray Brooks Park. A copy of this resolution shall be presented to her family as a token of the board's appreciation and gratitude for her commitment as a recognized and respected conservationist. Passed and duly adopted the 7th day of May, 2013.
This is a great time. I know for our county it's always neat when you're able to do something special and unique for someone that's done a lot for the county. We have some family joining us here. We have Dickie, and if you want you can introduce the crew with us. This is a wonderful time. Come on up for the microphone as well. This side here. The camera's there. Don't worry.
Okay, that's all right. I do cameras. That's all right. I'm Dickie Brooks, Jane Murray Brooks' daughter. My husband, Michael Cool. My son, Sandy Martin. My daughter-in-law, Corey Souza. And our youngest generation, Caden Martin. So he wanted to be with us tonight so we could honor Granny. And I thought you could give him the proclamation.
That's right.
Well, that's what we call passing the baton.
One generation to the next. That's great.
Can we let the short members of the family in the front?
That's
right. Thank you all so much. On behalf of the entire family, we are humbled and honored that you all would make this recognition of my mother. She actually did have time to be a mother and a grandmother in addition to all of those things that she was doing during the proclamation. But as a citizen of this county, she left a legacy to generations to come in terms of beaches and preserves and parks. And so we thank you for the recognition. And we're sneaking out, if that's okay, because of the little one.
That is special. So thank you all for joining us. Again, that's South Hutchinson Island, just south of the power plant, in case if you're looking. It's always neat. For a lot of people, I don't think they often realize how many amazing parks we have here in our county. And so when you're traveling South Hutchinson Island to see the amount of beautiful acreage that this county has to offer, both from a tourism standpoint as well as a recreation standpoint. So that's pretty special. With that, we're going to turn to one of our final proclamations. We have Crime Victims' Rights Week. And with that, we're going to have Madam Clerk, please read the proclamation.
Sure. Resolution 2013-72. A resolution proclaiming April 21, 2013 through April 27, 2013 as Crime Victims Week in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. 2013 is the 33rd commemoration of National Crime Victims' Rights Week. The victims' rights discipline in America has for decades dared to dream of a nation that is free from violence, and an America where crime victims are consistently provided supportive services to help them cope with the trauma of crime and victimization. The 19th Judicial Circuit Victims' Rights Coalition is comprised of victims' rights advocates from the State Attorney's Office, in the St. Lucie County, Okeechobee County, Indian River County Sheriff's Offices, the Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce Police Departments. The 19th Victims' Rights Coalition increases community awareness of victim issues and focuses on the National Victims' Rights Week on a local level. We must work to ensure fair treatment of all crime victims, ordering and enforcing victim restitution, and notifying victims of their right to compensation and services, thereby giving hope to victims that the system and society will work to restore their dignity and respect their needs and rights. The 19th Judicial Circuit Victims' Rights Coalition resolved that our individual and collective efforts reflect the dreams we dare to have of a nation where no crime victim goes unserved and every crime victim is afforded rights and services and fair treatment by the justice system and by society. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby proclaim April 21, 2013 through April 27, 2013 as Crime Victims' Rights Week in St. Lucie County, Florida, and urges the citizens of St. Lucie County to become more aware of victims' issues and participate in Crime Victims' Rights Week. Passed and duly adopted the 7th day of May, 2013.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With that, Chief Wilson will be again accepting, creating a night where he gets to come up quite a few times here. So. It's your exercise for the night. There you go.
Mr. Chair, members of the Board of County Commissioners, on behalf of all of the victim advocates on the Treasure Coast, I want to thank you for this proclamation. This is thankless work that the advocates do. They're called upon for so many different services, dealing with victims of crime, dealing with victims who's had family members that have died unexpectedly, and they do this work with very little recognition other than events like this where you pass a proclamation on their behalf. So for the victim advocates of the Treasure Coast, I want to thank you for this proclamation.
With that, we have our final proclamation for this evening, and that is to designate May as Foster Care Month. With that, Madam Clerk, please read the proclamation.
Resolution 2013-73. A resolution proclaiming the month of May 2013 as Foster Care Month in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. The family, serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support, is the foundation of our community and our state. In St. Lucie County, there are many children and youth in foster care being provided with a safe, secure, and stable home, along with the compassion and nurture of a foster family. All young people in foster care need a meaningful connection to a caring adult who becomes a supportive and lasting presence in their lives. Foster, kinship, and adoptive families who open their homes and hearts and support children whose families are in crisis play a vital role in helping children and families heal and reconnect, thereby launching young people into successful adulthood. Dedicated foster families frequently adopt foster children, resulting in a greater need for more foster families. There are numerous individuals, public and private organizations who work to increase public awareness of the needs of children in and leaving foster care, as well as the enduring and valuable contribution of foster parents. The foster care system is only as good as those who choose to be a part of it. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida, this board is hereby proclaimed the month of May 2013 as Foster Care Month in St. Lucie County, Florida. This board urges all citizens to come forward and do something positive that will help change a lifetime for children and youth in foster care. Passed and duly adopted the 7th day of May 2013.
With that, we have Janet Stewart that's going to join us this evening. And Catherine Hensley. Good evening, ladies. How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Here you go. The microphone's yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Mallory, and thank you, Commissioners, and good evening. My name is Janet Stewart, and I'm the foster care recruiter with Hibiscus Children's Center. And of course, as you know, this is Catherine Hensley, our president of our governing board with Hibiscus Children's Center. She was nice enough to attend with me. As a county, we have no task more important than ensuring our children grow up healthy and safe. It is a promise we owe to the hundreds of youth in foster care, boys and girls, who too often go without the love, protection, and stability of a permanent family. It is hard for us to even imagine. Thank you today for helping us bring awareness to the community for our urgent need for foster homes and the tremendous gift that foster parents share to help our most vulnerable children. There are many children in our community today still waiting for loving homes and still waiting for foster parents that will love and nurture them just as they would their own biological children. Here is the silver lining. One foster parent that loves them and that is a positive role model for them can have an everlasting impact on the child's self-esteem, happiness, and success. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
And if I may, Commissioners, our foster kids had 2 significant wins in the legislature this year, and I hope that you would recognize that when you see one of our legislators. As you know, foster children, when they turn 18, they age out regardless of whether they're out of high school or not. Not anymore. We have worked 8 years to show that this was a great return on investment for the state to make sure children stayed in foster care until they graduated from high school and were able to take that next step. And it actually saved the state money. The other win is called the normalcy bill. I'm calling it the normalcy bill. It means children that are in foster care, their parents can make decisions for them without having to call a staff meeting of everybody deciding whether the child can go on a date, can learn to ride a bicycle, or all those things we take for granted. That is also now in law. That's a good thing for our kids. I will leave you with one real positive thing. We all grieve with the white flags along Midway Road every year for the children who died. I want to show you a field full of pinwheels of thousands and thousands of children who were nurtured, well-fed, and loved through foster care. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our proclamation portion of the meeting. We have one presentation tonight for our Wreaths Across America program. With that, I see a couple of willing participants on the front row. Come on up and join us at the podium.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Great, thank you.
This is Mr. George Gray, Mike Giraffa, and I'm Diane Almodovar with Wreaths Across America. I do White City Cemetery, and what we do is we place wreaths on veterans' grave sites on the second Saturday of December, which is recognized as Wreaths Across America by Congress. What we have to do throughout the year is fundraise in order to place these wreaths. This past year, we placed 500 wreaths on our veterans' grave sites. There's 750 veterans there out at White City Cemetery dating all the way back to the Civil War. So with that, may I have Mr. Dudowski, Ms. Paula Lewis, and Ms. Franny Hutchinson come up, please? And Mr. Maury, I want to thank you for coming for our very first presentation. I mean, our very first service we did.
No, thank you.
You want to say it?
No, no. Doing very good.
Where we're going to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you very much.
You do a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. You said wonderful.
Not at all. This is your,
Diane, our photographers are very important.
sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, one more. George is a federal judge. Very good. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out. Thank you. And you're going to get an invitation again?
Anytime.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. I'd like to extend my invitation now for everybody to come out for our December 14th service, okay?
Thank you. It's a great event. For those of you that may not be aware, it's neat to have a special service where so many people get involved. And it's kind of a special time to be able to go out and stand before someone's grave site and to be able to sort of look and to consider perhaps what their life represented and what it meant. I was actually impressed. I didn't realize that Franny had so many family members that have been buried over the years there in White City. So it was...
I come from a big family.
Yeah, a big family.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Diane, you said that you raise money throughout the year for the wreaths, and you seem to be several hundred wreaths short. If somebody wanted to participate, sponsor, donate, and help out, how could they do that? Can they contact you?
Oh, yes, you can. And also you can go see Andrea at the White City Cemetery. My email address is honeydye@comcast.net. Also, you can go to the wreathsacrossamerica.org website and look up White City Cemetery, and you can make your donations that way. Or...
Veterans?
Well, come over here.
Flyers out throughout the county? So.
Yes. We try to have fundraisers throughout, but as we get it out, we'll put out publications and throughout at stores and things like that to get the word out, or I'll let the commissioners know as to when we're going to have a fundraiser. But as far as that's going, as like I said, you can go to wreathsacrossamerica.org and look up White City Cemetery and make your pledge at that point, and then the wreath will come down. This past year, like I said, we did 500. We had the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Department give us an escort of our wreath. I don't know if anybody knew about that. And then, of course, we placed the 500 wreaths. So.
Excellent. Great.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to extend my thanks. You have single-handedly had this program grow here in the county, and I know the goal of everyone has been to ensure that at some point we will be able to put wreaths on all of the veterans' graves. So thank you for your hard work. It is year-long. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes that. I wanted to note, we let our county attorney off when it was Law Day. We didn't pick on him, although clearly we had an opportunity. There's just something about law, jokes, and lawyers and everything, and poor Dan, he gets to sit back there and crouch down, but we do appreciate our county attorney for the efforts that he provides. Right, Dan?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, that's what he says. All right. With that, we're going to turn to general public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board this evening, please feel free to do so. If you wouldn't mind, please state your name and address for the record. With that, we have Mr. Bill Patterson.
Good evening. Great night for resolutions in St. Lucie County. Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, my name is Bill Patterson. For the record, I'm the property owner in St. Lucie County, and I'm the chairman of the Republican Party of St. Lucie County. A couple of weeks ago, I mailed you a resolution that was passed by my executive committee, and tonight I would like to read that resolution into the record. So without any further ado, this is the resolution of the Republican Executive Committee of St. Lucie County for exposing the Southeast Regional Partnership Regional Visioning Project, more commonly known as 750. Whereas on March 20th, 2012, the Republican Executive Committee of St. Lucie County voted upon and passed a resolution joining the Republican National Committee to oppose United Nations Agenda 21 because it was antithetical to freedom and detrimental to property rights and whereas the United Nations Agenda 21 operates through sustainable development and smart growth policies which are being enacted by regional visioning projects and other such initiatives and projects. And whereas today we have the same proposed policies and issues coming before us all under the label of 750, standing for 7 counties and 50 years, a regional visioning project of the Southeast Florida Regional Partnership to include the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. And whereas many of those who are labeled as partners, sponsors, and interested stakeholders of 750 are those same organizations that have been spearheading the covert promulgation of the United Nations Agenda 21. And whereas many of the principles and goals of 750 are based on socialist principles such as social justice, needs of the collective over the rights of the individual, and man-made global warming or climate change theories and models, which we now know to be based on false and/or manipulated data in studies designed to promote an imagined crisis and to wrongly convince world's population to relinquish rights of liberty, property, and sovereignty. And whereas we believe that while property rights are not absolute, they are the basis for economic freedom and personal prosperity. The 750 will subjugate and repress those rights, placing over them non-elected officials with no local oversight or accountability, but with the authority to enact regulations and alter land use, zoning, as well as private property development. And whereas regional planning would wholly be controlled, dominated, and determined by non-local elected interests and no longer by elected officials or county officials. Whereas we believe that 750 Regional Visioning Project to be a direct subsidiary and tool of the United Nations Agenda 21 and stands in direct disregard for American freedom, private property rights, individual liberty, and assaults the very foundation of America. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Republican Executive Committee of St. Lucie County of the state of Florida recognizes the destructive and insidious nature of 750 and supports all efforts to expose to the public and public policymakers the dangerous intent of the plan. Be it further resolved that the federal, state, and local governments across the country be well informed of the underlying harmful implications and destructive strategies for regional visioning projects as they may appear across these great states and their local communities, and we hereby endorse the rejection of any grant monies attached to 750 and other regional visioning projects. Be it further resolved that the Republican Executive Committee of St. Lucie County of the state of Florida encourages the Republican Party of Florida to join us in supporting these efforts to expose 750 and other regional visioning projects, and to request that other counties forward their written statements of support. With the exception of one abstention, I, William D. Patterson, certify that the foregoing resolution was approved and adopted unanimously by the members of the Republican Executive Committee of St. Lucie County present on the 16th day of April 2013 at their regular monthly meeting. I would like to add to that this, while I do represent the Republican Party of St. Lucie County, this is not a partisan issue. This 750 stretches across both Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and everyone else that falls in between. And that also Martin and Palm Beach counties, their RECs are filing similar resolutions. I know that Vero Beach and Indian River have already done it, and their county has rejected this money, and we would beseech our county to do the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Anyone else wishing to address the board?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commission. My name is Mark Gotts, 154 Northwest Magnolia Lakes Boulevard. This is also a continuation of 750. The Southeast Florida Regional Partnership, a non-governmental organization, is implementing a plan that will take private property decisions away from local governments and citizens and place them in the hands of non-elected bureaucrats. 7 counties in 50 years, 750, is a plan that encompasses the control of all land, water, minerals, plants, all animals, all construction, all means of transportation, production, all information, all energy, and all human beings in the 7 county under the direction of the Southeast Florida Regional Partnership. Their vision for our growth will be driven by federal agencies, including the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the U.S. Department of Transportation. It is difficult to understand why our elected public officials would transfer their authority over local development to a non-governmental agency that is controlled by federal agencies. This is especially true by looking at your agenda tonight and the planning and zoning items that you have on it. St. Lucie County is noted as a Tier 2 partnership member. The definition of a Tier 2 Sustainable Communities Grant Consortium member is the Sustainable Communities Grant Consortium is a subset of the partnership which serves as the core team within the partnership for meeting HUD requirements and carrying out activities to develop the 750 plan. This includes the basic commitments and responsibilities outlined for partnership members, but also includes additional commitment of leveraged resources in terms of staff, financial investment, or other resources. Questions arise which need to be answered are, what is the financial impact to the citizens of St. Lucie County? How will this plan affect existing zoning and housing developments as it pertains to socially inclusive and sustainable, equitable communities? Will there be fair housing assessments in existing communities to identify if those communities are socially inclusive? How will this plan create economic prosperity for the citizens of St. Lucie County? Currently, the EPA Land Trust owns more than 16,000 acres of St. Lucie property. These parcels are no longer on our tax rolls. Owned by the federal and state government, these parcels pay no tax, allowing existing taxpayers to fund the cost of public services and government overhead. What percentage of land in St. Lucie County is owned by our governments, both city, state, county? What plans are in process to take more of our property and add it to the government's asset base? We have had a state comprehensive land plan since 1985 under Governor Bob Graham. Why are we creating another layer of approvals and compliance to further infringe on our private property rights? Please think through this and not be swayed by the siren song of federal grants and money. You have the ability to terminate your partnership as noted in your Memorandum of Understanding. Help the property owners of this county and use it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. How are you?
Good.
Good. My name is Phyllis Fry. I reside at 275 Date Palm Road in Vero Beach. As chairperson for the American Coalition for Property Rights with members in St. Lucie County, we would like to express our concerns for the encroachment upon private property rights brought to the communities by regionalism. Under the original name of Southeast Florida Regional Sustainable Communities HUD Grant Initiative, now known as 750, meaning control of 7 counties within 50 years. This federal program for implementing sustainable communities has salted our planning commissions with their vision for our future. Working hand in glove using grants, our tax money from HUD, EPA, and the DOT, under the guise of environmentalism, 750 intends to federalize our living spaces into sustainable communities, which are clusters of low-income, high-density population, HUD stack and pack high-rises with demographic quotas located adjacent to mass rail transit. Under the DOT, our streets will be re-engineered and pedestrianized. Under stricter EPA regulations, the use of automobiles with their dirty carbon footprints will no longer be needed. Regional tax-based sharing redistributes monies from the suburbs to pay for the sustainable communities. Private homes with their individually controlled air conditioners and irrigated lawns will be deemed unsustainable. 750, consisting of non-governmental organizations, unelected bureaucrats, and appointees from outside our area, bypass Congress, contravene our Constitution, circumvent the state level, and no matter what they tell you, after you accept their grant money, you, our locally elected officials, will no longer have a say in the planning of our community. We, the people, will lose our right to decide how and where we live. Sustainable communities are not an American idea. It does not promote prosperity. It creates government dependency. It does not create jobs. It erodes capitalism. In the sustainable community, collectivism dictates and individualism is no longer an option. And when the government money runs out, the county will be left with the debt. Give your children and your grandchildren the gift of freedom to choose. Retain the right to local governance and fiscal responsibility. Refuse the coercive effect of becoming regionalized, federalized, or nationalized. The City of Vero Beach, Indian River County, Indian River Township, the Indian River School Board, 4 states, and 4 pages of listed cities across America have opted out of the 750-style regionalism. We ask, if you truly represent the people who voted for you, and I truly believe that you do, we ask that you carefully consider opting out of 750. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Kevin Stinnett. I'm here on a slightly different vein, representing the Board of Conservation Alliance in the absence of Andy Brady, who is out of town due to a death in the family. We're blessed with an abundance of people in our county who work to promote the assets that bring value to our community for years and even decades. And I would like to thank you for honoring Jane Brooks, who thought of protecting assets that would bring value to our community for centuries and even millennia. And it's a very positive thing that you do to honor someone who worked so hard to protect natural systems that enrich our community in so many ways. And, you know, they give back, they don't take. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stinnett. Thank you.
George. All right.
Good evening, George.
How you doing, folks? Mr. Commissioner and fellow commissioners and County Administrator. Anyway, my name is George M. Baker, live in the city of Port St. Lucie. I came to a meeting here on the 2nd of April. Now, I've been living in a cave for the last 3 months, so obviously I missed all the news. But I was very surprised to hear one of the people get up and start talking about a fuel depot. Now, I know this is not going to make you happy. Now, I don't know if you ever heard the expression in journalism called pegging a story. Well, pegging a story is where you write a story, and old days they say we hang it on the peg. We don't release it until we want to or we have to. But the story is already written. Well, that was April 2nd meeting, folks. I got up Wednesday morning. My paper's delivered at 4:30 in the morning. This is April the 3rd, the next day, which tells me that story was pegged. Okay? Now, that's not a crime. It's perfectly legal. But what I'm telling you, what bothers me is everybody on the commission knew about it. The county administrator knew about it. The EDC knew about it. And even the Tribune knew about it. So I guess I'm probably the only one that didn't know about it. When we talk about transparency in government, folks, we can't wait till the last minute and then dump it on these folks out here and say, gee, we're going to do this or do that. Now we need your vote. We need to hash this out. And I think this kind of proves that somebody really knew what was going on a long time ago. Now, I don't know if any of you have been in major fires. Well, when I was 17 years old, I enlisted in the United States Navy. I was in naval aviation, and they dumped me in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And my second assignment was in the base fire department. I know what fires are. I know what congregations, whatever they call it, are called. It's very serious, it's very hot, it's very dangerous. And nobody has mentioned that. I brought up cargo port crime rate, and I'm going to bring up fire hazard down there. That particular area is going to be hard to put out a fire. If you've ever been in one, you don't want to do it twice. I've been there, done that. I ain't going to do it again. Now, one other thing I want to throw in there, Major Teague was here tonight talking about the jail, as I've told you guys before. I was in the First Citizens Academy with the Sheriff's Department. I've been to the jail. You don't want to go there either. When they close those big doors, it's like a heart attack. You know you're stuck. And if you want to prevent crime, folks, get your kids out there and get young people out there and let them find out what it's like to be in that facility. Now, I have about 60 years experience. I've worked with 2 corporations, 1 union, 1 non-union, in management and not in management. I have a pretty good experience, a lot of things. I brought up a lot of suggestions here, and so far as I can see, not too many people have been interested. So I told a fellow in the Sheriff's Department, this is my last, what do they call it, her last hurrah. I won't be doing this again. I'll be coming to the meetings, but this ain't working. But one last thing I want to say, I always have a big agenda. When I get up here, I get nervous and I can't remember nothing. That's old age, I hope. Commissioner Z. I can't say this, but I want to thank you for your support. It's very,
It's okay, George.
well, you know what I went through, so
I know.
I just want to thank you personally. And I can't talk about it. I'm still not over it, and et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't come up here to do this, folks, but I've been through hell for the last 3 years. So anyway, listen, take heed. Everybody talks about BP, not going to have an oil spill in the Gulf. They killed 11 people up there with a fire. If you have a fire in this port, folks, I ain't going to be there to help you put it out. I'm out of experience, out of age, and I'm not able to do it anymore. You're going to have a real tough time. You don't have enough equipment to come in and put a tanker out. You just think you do. Unless you've seen a real fire, you don't want to have that. You want to. I know the state just came up with a commission. They're going to go out and investigate the ports. Put a port closed sign on that area and just forget about it. Let them go somewhere else for that fire hazard. You ain't going to like what happens, folks. It's going to happen. It's as sure as it rains and sun comes up. That kind of stuff happens. I don't care what they tell you. Like I say, I've been there. I've done that. And I'd hate to see that tidal basin on fire down there. Okay. I always get that. Nobody else gets that. How come I get it? Anyway, this is a good night. Goodbye. I told the guy in the Sheriff's Department I would not come to any more meetings. I misspoke. I won't come up here and speak anymore, but I will come to meetings because I think everybody should come that's a citizen of this county.
You know, Mr. Baker, ever since I've known you, you've been saying something similar to that, and I don't think our meetings would be whole if you didn't find something to periodically come up and to alert us to. So I hope that you will just take a mindset that maybe you want a siesta, you want to take a little leave, but we expect...
I'm done.
We need your...
I had one group in this county administration that asked my wife and I for suggestions. We gave it to them. And they did it. I said, holy cow, it works. But that's the only group that did. And of course, I got a lot of experience. I know what quality circles are. Most never heard of them. You know, there's somebody out there knows what quality circles are. And anyway, I've been through a lot in 60 years. I have a lot to offer, but nobody seems to want to get it. And I don't have the, well, that's enough. I'm done. My 5 minutes are up. Thanks again. I will be at the meetings.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Baker.
Thank you. No problem.
Leave them. Pass them down. You just pass them.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Howard, how are you?
Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. What I handed you there...
Name and address for the record.
Howard Fine, 2601 North US 1, little Colony Club mobile home park up in Fort Pierce. What I handed you there was a report that was put out by executive order back in September of 2005, and it states Sustainable Treasure Coast. And basically what it was they were trying, I guess a group of people got together and they kind of scared the governor and Ken Pruitt into thinking that our Treasure Coast was at a crisis. And if you look at the second page, down at the right, you'll see where it says the Treasure Coast is at a crisis point. Unless we come together as one region and take the steps to implement the recommendations outlined in this report, the quality of life we value will soon be a memory. This was in 2005. I would ask you, do you think that we're in more of a crisis now than we were in 2005? Do you think more people can find jobs today than they could back then? The reason why I bring this up, because I knew that this 750 thing was starting to take place, and more of the same things, sustainable, quality of life initiatives. I haven't seen anywhere where that's helped anything remain sustainable. Our economy is completely unsustainable. We do not have a sustainable economy here. We just don't. And so what did they create? What is sustainable? I was saying, where was the crisis back then? And here we're trying to implement more 750s and more rules and regulations, less property rights. The foundation of America's prosperity lies solely on its property rights. It's what allows people who are not rich, didn't grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth, the ability to work hard, invest, own a little piece of property, grow it, and then take out loans upon that property. It's what grows prosperity in a civilization. And without it, there is no prosperity. Without an economy being sustainable, where's that guy? Without our economy being sustainable, what else is there? There is nothing that's sustainable. You can have all the parks and beaches and birds and dolphins in the whole world. You will not be able to survive. And the reason I bring this up, I think it's important for you guys up here to say, you know what? We've had this. They've given it to us. They told us to do it. Oh my gosh, we were going to lose our society and it was going to be unsustainable if we didn't. And none of that happened. It's actually gotten worse. So I ask you guys to sit up here and think outside the box. How do we, St. Lucie County, create sustainability for ourselves when our economy? We can't count on the government. We certainly can't count on the feds. You know what they're doing is unsustainable. It's just a matter of time. I'm just saying, think outside the box. How do we create prosperity in our little county? Simple things like put a moratorium on impact fees. And then I know there's others here, they freak. Oh my God, who's going to pay the impact fees? If it was done correctly, everybody's paying as they go along. You shouldn't want to penalize the people that actually create wealth in this county for the rest of y'all. You can also have a moratorium on impact fees if your regulations are still so stifling that you still can't invest and grow. And so I just want you folks to just think about it. What have we been doing all this time? You'll look at this list, you're going to see some people on the St. Lucie County Commission that were on these boards that I know it really, and they did it in good intention, but it's really created and festered failure. And I want you guys to think of alternative ways. I don't know all of the options that are available to you, but I'd like you to think, how do we become self-sufficient? And how do we create prosperity for ourselves? One of those might be the port. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman Mowry, Commission members, Ms. Outlaw. My name is Roland O'Brien. I live at 21 Villa del Norte in Fort Pierce. And I'm also talking about the 750 situation that's about to be discussed. As you heard earlier, during the Law Day proclamation, the nation was founded on inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness allows us the right to rewards of our own labor. In other words, what we save and acquire is our own personal property. In this nation, earned success corresponds to merit and industriousness rather than privilege and inheritance. Indeed, personal property rights are the very reason this nation has grown to be so wealthy so rapidly. There are those who would take away people's rights right here in St. Lucie County, as well as nationwide. The current attack on America's freedoms is not bombs and bullets from foreign tyrants. It is from an internal enemy of freedom that is just as vicious and much more sinister. To the extent that local, state, and federal governments yield to the demands of sustainable development, freedom is diminished. To the extent that local, state, and federal government rejects the principles of sustainable development, freedom is advanced. The four southern large counties which started this planning effort way back when were primarily interested in climate change. Next, the Southeast Florida Regional Climate Change Compact was formed with a laundry list of objectives, including greenhouse gas emissions, plan for a rising sea, and much more. But one of their major objectives was to, quote, provide a leadership role in the development of 750 for the 7 southernmost counties on the east coast of Florida, which is funded by a federal HUD grant. Note, they've now included the Treasure Coast counties. When you read many papers of the 750 plan, you'll find the words, think globally, but act locally. Why do you think Miami-Dade, Broward County, and Palm Beach County want the Treasure Coast involved in 750? Think about it. You think there's any possibility they want to take advantage of our less densely populated land, our citrus farms, our potential water sources for themselves? Who do you think will have the most power? Read money. When it comes to a, quote, regional approach to anything, it most assuredly won't be a small northern county. Federal money comes with large strings attached, which will result in a loss of local decision-making authority and private property rights. It will also result in changes to the county's desired low-density character and scale. Please do not allow local sovereignty be given to HUD, EPA, or U.S. DOT. If you haven't heard of the United Nations Agenda 21 by now, I urge you to learn about it, find out where it's actually happening right here in St. Lucie County. Already nearly half the state is owned by government entities. We cannot afford to take additional contributing land off the tax rolls. In summation, I recommend and respectfully request this commission take the same action the Indian River County Commission did, and that is to vote to withdraw from the 750 regional plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Anyone else wishing to address the board this evening?
Mr. John.
Good evening, Mr. Reno.
Good evening, Commissioner Mowry. John Arena, Fort Pierce. Human beings with our automobiles and coal-fired power plants and our oil-burning industries are putting more than 50 million tons of carbon dioxide into our atmosphere every day. And then we wonder why we have weather disruption. What we should be doing is putting flexible solar panels on every available rooftop, in my opinion. For the people who still think the 13 artificial islands are a good thing, just wait a couple of years till they turn black. They will remove the open space view of our lagoon, damaging the tourism industry in this region, and deter manatees trying to get to warmer waters at the mouth of Moores Creek during freezes, among other things. It will take Mother Nature some 50 years to dissolve the calcium carbonate chunks to get rid of most of it. If you can't find the rechargeable batteries that you want locally, try 1-800-924-4950. I did, and it worked out fine. While traveling around on my bicycle, I noticed laurel oak trees in decline. If you are thinking of planting an oak tree, consider a live oak if you have enough space. They have a lifespan of a couple of 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arena. Anyone else wishing to address the board this evening? Seeing no other movement, we will return to the board. We will start with the consent agenda for this evening. Are there any items that any commission member wishes to have pulled for a separate vote or separate action or comment? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that the board consider pulling item B2 for separate discussion and vote at the end at the regular agenda.
Item B2.
Yes, sir.
This is the application for voluntary annexation.
Yes.
This is the City of Port St. Lucie McCarty Ranch.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, move approval of the remaining consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
There's a second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. With that, we will turn to item B2. County Attorney, Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the reasons I suggested that you do that is the recommendation is for the board to determine whether to proceed. So by adopting the consent agenda, it would be perhaps unclear as to the board's action on that. We have suggested that the board consider taking the action which would initiate conflict resolution with the City of Port St. Lucie as a result of the proposed annexation. This is a process that the board can initiate and at any point in time determine not to proceed as things progress. We think it's a viable option. I know the county administrator has met with city staff recently, and I believe those discussions were productive, at least in the sense of understanding each other's position. But the board needs to take some action. The second public hearing is May the 13th. And if that goes forward, we would need to be in a position to move in that regard under conflict resolution.
Any comments or questions for the county attorney? Again, this is the City of Port St. Lucie's request for an annexation of the approximately 3,000 acre parcel of land that is just west of the city limits that they are looking to annex into the City of Port St. Lucie. Hearing no comment?
Mr. Chair, is it possible, and this is not to drag this on, but do we have a map that we can put up on the screen for the public to understand, or at least have a better understanding of why the questions have come to play?
We can pull up Google Earth here quickly with Mr. Sadley and identify that triangular piece of property to the west. Although I know there was actually a graphic that had the outlines of the parcel that showed the slivers. I don't know if staff has that JPEG or not.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I did not bring that with me. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick on Google Earth.
It's the
Well, again, the Google Earth, and I think Commissioner Maurer, you point out a very good thing. It was actually the slivers of the proposed connectivity that they're using that I really wanted to show. No, I don't think that's going to be on Google Earth. I know, but are these clear enough? Commissioner Maurer, I've got a black and white. I know in my backup. Can they put that
I was
on
just
the
looking at,
screen?
I don't know if our camera is working, staff?
Maybe Shane can come and pull that up for you, but the parcel of land under consideration is where the cursor is. This is the mine that's out on the property. It's this tract of land, kind of where I'm circling the western.
If you can just expand that for, hit the cursor and it'll.
This is the western city limits right here, and then the property is right here. It's about a mile west of the existing city limits, and it's connected to the city by about a strip of land about 600 feet wide.
Just a second. Shane's tablet's pulling up, or the may not read it as clearly. Camera.
I can zoom it in. Just if you've got the.
I don't have it, and I was going to pull it up on the.
Oh, okay.
We have a color graphic that Mr. McIntyre is bringing over. We can place it in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Good.
Just to orient you, this line running along here is the.
We just need to get you on camera if possible.
Microphone too.
Or on the microphone.
This is the eastern boundary of the city of Port St. Lucie. This is the connectivity here, this piece. That's about a mile long. And then this is the main parcel. It's about 3,000 acres. Down here at the south is the Martin County line. And this is Glades Cutoff Road running to the west side of the property, I hope. Does that help?
Then just below that is the rectangular piece of property that has been discussed for the inland port.
Correct.
Just as a point of reference. So
correct.
The annexation that's being requested would create perhaps an enclave section based upon those two slivers that the city is showing as their connectivity points.
Right, and the letter that we sent to the city mentioned that we didn't feel that it met the requirements for annexation under the statutes for being substantially contiguous to the city of Port St. Lucie, and it did create the enclaves. And those were the two items we pointed out in our letter to them.
And I remind the board the recent Beau Rivage enclave that we had to deal with. It was uncomfortable, and this situation is equally as uncomfortable. But as importantly, there are a number of questions that still need to be resolved, which I believe we should just move forward with this to maintain our position and then have the conversation with our colleagues at the future, and then we can rescind this at any time. And, there are some issues, of course, utility service areas, contiguity, and we were working in the past for jobs corridors. Rangeline Road was one of those areas. Midway Road was one of those areas for creating jobs corridors. And then there is the future proposal of an inland port, which was directly south of that area. So there are a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I think that the county should simply move forward with this to preserve its position and work out the details. I don't think there's any immediate need for annexation. Development won't occur anytime soon. The proposition that was made to me was that it's to reserve and create opportunities for preserving water in the future. But that area will not be built out anytime soon, so I don't think there's any rush to let this move forward, but to have the conversation, meet with our colleagues, and work out the details and learn more about the property.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think a lot of us have been slightly puzzled at what has been taking place. The $10 million that the City of Port St. Lucie spent to buy this 3,000-acre piece of land, the quickness of how things have been proceeding, a lot of questions that have been left unanswered, and so I think staff is taking the appropriate action at this point to open that dialogue. Any other comments or responses from the board?
Mr. Chair, my only comment is that I hope this is not being looked upon as being adversarial with the city. I think we've built on that relationship and that partnership, but more as a move, because I think they've got their next meeting is scheduled technically right before we have another one of our meetings. So I would hope it's looked upon as an opportunity that we can sit down and have some of these questions that need to be answered and stuff before they start moving forward. That we're this way, we're continuing to be in that partnership attitude.
Fully agree. I think that's a great comment. I think both County Administrator Faye Outlaw as well as the interim city manager, Jeff Bremer, had a solid meeting. In fact, I believe that took place today to discuss some of those aspects, and it sounds as though the result of that was a very favorable meeting. Some of those questions that have been asked by some of the commissioners were answered at that time. Any other comments related to this item?
Yeah, I will just say one comment in pretty much reference to the same thing Commissioner Hutchinson said. I reserve the right to give them the right to kind of convey to us what their commitment is relative to this property, because we do have a committed working relationship on a couple of projects and things that we're doing relative to the future, and we want to continue that positive relationship with the city, both Port St. Lucie and the city of Fort Pierce, and we definitely want to give them that opportunity to have their say.
Mr. Chairman, I just did want to point out for those that might not be familiar with the conflict resolution process, I think the very way the process is set up ensures what Commissioner Hutchinson was looking for. It's stated in our backup here, which is why I wanted to mention it, because other folks aren't looking at that. If implemented, conflict resolution provides for 1, conflict assessment meeting, 2, a joint public meeting between the entities if the conflict assessment process does not result in resolution, and 3, mediation if 1 and 2 do not result in resolution. And as someone else said, you know, at any point in the process, obviously it can be abandoned or upon agreement abandoned. And I just wanted to point out that what this actually provides for is a forum of a framework within which the meetings will take place and the conversations will occur.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move forward approval to move forward with conflict resolution that will set the outline as Commissioner Lewis has eloquently stated.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. With that, that concludes the consent agenda. We will now turn to item 7, public hearings. We'll begin with item A, County Attorney. This is ordinance number 2013-18. It's an ordinance relating to St. Lucie County to encourage economic development in the county. With that, Mr. Attorney. Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This particular item relates to the county's economic ad valorem tax exemption program. In way of background, the county first adopted it back in 1992. It's pursuant to state law. It required a vote of the people in order to implement. That was done in 1992. It expires every 10 years, so the voters again approved it in 2002 in November, and then just last year, in November of 2012, the voters again approved it. So these This particular program has been approved by the county's voters. It provides an ad valorem exemption for certain types of new businesses or expansions of continuing businesses. They have to create at least 10 jobs. It only taxes or grants an exemption for the improvements, not the actual ground value. It only applies to county taxes, not school district taxes or fire district taxes, so it's limited in that way. The actual exemption cannot exceed 10 years, and in fact the county has adopted a rate schedule that bases the amount of exemption on the number of jobs created and the average wage. Obviously, the more jobs and the higher the wage, the more years you get under the county's program. With that in mind, we do have an application filed by Investment Casting Specialist of Florida, Inc. As required by state law, the application was forwarded to the county's property appraiser for review. The county's property appraisers determined that this did meet the qualifications as required by state law. The actual value for this year is zero because as of January 1st, the improvements were not complete. However, for the exemption would be granted in fiscal year 14. The actual revenue lost to the county if the exemption was granted during the current fiscal year would be $6,142.38. The application reflects that 20 county residents will be employed by Investment Casting. Under the eligibility chart that I talked about, it appears that Investment Casting would receive a 4-year exemption phased as follows. Year 1, 100%, year 2, 50%, year 3, 33%, and the final year 4, 25%. Attached is a copy of a draft ordinance which, if adopted, would grant the Investment Casting Company an economic ad valorem tax exemption for a period of 4 years, as previously mentioned. This is a public hearing. Staff recommends that the board adopt the ordinance and authorize the chairman to sign the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. I know we also have our Economic Development Director, Mr. Pelton, in the audience. Didn't know if you had any comments or anything you'd like to add to that. No comments. Super. Thank you for attending this evening. With that, we'll turn to the board. This is a public hearing. We're going to begin by opening up the public comment portion. Anyone wishing to address the board, please do so at this time. I thought Mr. Sadlerly was coming before us. With that, we'll close the public comment portion. We'll turn to the board.
Mr. Chairman, move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Is there any other comment on the discussion, on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We'll turn to item B, Planning and Development Services. Mr. Sadlerly, this is ordinance number 2013-19, Land Development Code Text Amendment, Jenkins Road Area Plan Special District Section.
Good evening, Chairman and Commission members. For the record, Diana Waite, Senior.
Diana, I didn't even see you there. I'm sorry. I saw
all right.
Mr. Sadlerly move forward, and
I snuck up here.
you did. Thank you.
We can move right into this. So, and as you indicated, this is a Land Development Code text amendment. It's to modify the rezoning section of the Jenkins Road Area Plan Special District. The item is the first public hearing of 2 required public hearings, and to date, no comments have been received. This item pertains to special district boundary, which includes 1,700 acres generally located from Orange Avenue to Angle Road to the north and east and Kings Highway to the west. The special district regulations were adopted in 2007 to guide future development in the boundary towards a mixed-use land development pattern with increased connectivity. The proposed amendment would only apply to lands within that special boundary. On March 18th, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on this item and recommended approval of the requested amendment by a 6-0 vote. At that meeting, the applicant's representative appeared, and that was the only member of the public to address the Planning and Zoning Commission. Lands within the special district are primarily undeveloped.
The proposed amendment would allow 30.95-acre tract located at the southwest intersection of Engle Road and the future Taylor Dairy Road to be rezoned to commercial general, rather than a planned development as currently required in the code. The 30-plus acre tract is delineated in orange on your screen. The purpose and intent of the amendment is to allow Engle Road Development, LLC, to request a change in zoning for the 30-plus acre tract to commercial general, as was conceptually approved by the Board of County Commissioners on October 2nd, 2012. If this is approved in conjunction with the change in zoning to CG, you will see a future land use amendment to MXD for your consideration in the near future. The proposed amendment also provides for a waiver from the road and trail system standards upon approval by the Board of County Commissioners. The future land uses surrounding the 30-acre tract, which would be allowed to be rezoned to commercial general, are industrial, are primarily future land use designations of industrial to the west, residential urban to the east. The Jenkins Road Special District regulations limit the future land use changes can occur within the boundary without first amending the code. The Special District regulations allow the parcel on the east and west of the intersection of Engle Road and Taylor Dairy Road intersection, which includes the subject parcel, to be changed to MXD. No changes to this section are proposed, as the future land use map amendment that will be brought before you at a later date is proposed to be mixed use. The existing zoning districts surrounding the 30-acre parcel range from industrial to agriculture and low-density residential. Industrial zoning is located to the west, and agriculture residential zoning is located to the east. Lands to the west are currently used as pasture lands, and the 20-acre parcel to the east contains a single-family home and pasture lands. The North Jenkins Road extension provisions allow parcels along Kings Highway to be rezoned to industrial light, planned non-residential development, or planned mixed-use development. Parcels at the southeast and southwest corner of Taylor Dairy Road may currently only be rezoned to PNRD or planned mixed-use development. In conclusion, I've gone a little too far here in my slides. The staff has determined that the proposed changes conform to the standards of review as set forth in Section 110603 of the St. Lucie County Land Development Code and is not in conflict with the goals, objectives, and policies of the St. Lucie County Comprehensive Plan. In addition to the two discussed changes, there was a couple minor incorrect references and errors that were corrected in that part of the ordinance that's being modified. Tonight, we just ask you to authorize a second hearing on the item for May 21st at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as possible. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman. Diana, you read a part there, and I was trying to follow along, and I may have misheard it. Did you say something about a waiver of the trails and road system? What?
Yes. There is a provision in the rezoning section that we have open for this amendment that requires development within the overlay district to comply with the road and trail system, which there is a very specific map and very specific sections for this overlay. This provision is put in there as an option for somebody who might come in the future, and actually I think it will be needed also for the single road development. That they would come to the commission on an individual basis as a request for a waiver. Obviously, with justification, the board would review each each case individually, make a decision.
How will that affect the Greenways and Trails process that we have been working on for a decade at least, and have a future plan of 100 years?
Yeah, connections through this area will be important as roadways go in, and I think, and that would be one of the items that would need to be discussed if there was a waiver come before you, because each roadway section has sidewalks, bike lanes are on the road. There is a multi-use path in the overlay district. So it would depend on the specific location, and that would be part of the consideration, I think, on the waiver.
Okay, so I think that, coming forward, that we need to be specific somewhat, that does, while a consideration of waiver may happen, but the goal of Greenways and Trails is still there. I think it's important that, we don't walk away from that. We have had a number of children injured and killed walking to and from school, home, bus stops, and so on. And I think that the walkways, the sidewalks, the trails, the bike paths are incredibly important for communities as they develop. So I don't want us to lose that in this process.
No, I don't believe we will.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Ms. Waite, Mr. Satterley, or others? Okay, we have a recommendation for board review and authorization to schedule the second public hearing for May the 21st, 2013 at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter. Is there a motion?
There's a motion. Don't think we need one, but...
It's really up to the board. If you want to just, if you want to make a motion, that's perfectly acceptable. If you want to simply say that we'll proceed to the second public hearing, that's also acceptable. So it's really up to the board.
At this point, we will just proceed with second scheduled hearing that will be set for May the 21st. Thank you, staff, on that.
Thank you.
By the way, I'm trying to be a good soldier on this. I'm trying to stick to the electronic version only. And by the way, for those in the audience, those watching at home, the agenda packets now are fully available online. You can pull that up well in advance of the meetings. That way you can go through that as well and to get a feel for how that's laid out. I was noticing tonight on those graphics that we were looking for, I finally figured out we can actually pull up the graphics and you can rotate it, so that way it was in the correct manner. So we could have actually pulled it up electronically and followed that rather than what we did. So staff, we're going to have to get up to speed. I can tell we're all working through this, so it's a work in progress. Now, if I can just get to the next item. All right, item 3.
Yes, good evening. Britton Wilson, Senior Planner for the record. I'm presenting 4 items tonight, all of which are for county-owned parcels located throughout the county. Items 7, B2, and B3 are concurrent items for property located in the airport overlay zone. Items 7, B4, and B5 are concurrent items for the existing Lakewood Park Regional Park. And this is the second and final adoption hearing for these items that you may recall were first presented to you back in December. These are 4 separate public hearings that were advertised together on April 25th, and staff has received no public comment in opposition to any of the proposals. Items 7B2 and B3 are both concurrent items for property managed by the St. Lucie County International Airport and located in the airport overlay zone. Item B2 is a future land use map amendment for 7 parcels located in Area 8. And the purpose of both items is to bring the property into conformance with the airport master plan and the airport overlay zone. This is a close-up map for item B2, which is for the adoption of a large-scale future land use map amendment for 7 parcels totaling 15 acres going from RU residential urban at 5 dwelling units per acre to industrial. This item was transmitted to the State Department of Economic Opportunity, and they provided a letter of no comment. Item 7B3 is the concurrent amendment to the official zoning atlas for 114 parcels that are mostly going from a residential zoning to light industrial and utilities. Here's a zoning map depicting the proposed changes. And again, the purpose of both amendments is to bring this county-owned property that is managed by the St. Lucie County International Airport into compliance with the Airport Master Plan, the Comprehensive Plan, and FAA regulations, which all prohibit incompatible land uses such as residential homes, hospitals, and libraries. So this is primarily a housekeeping item intended to bring the parcels into compliance with their existing uses and the county's adopted plans. And so in order to bring this property into conformance, staff is recommending approval for both the future land use map amendment and concurrent rezoning. And the public hearing needs to be open and closed for each item separately. And that concludes this portion of my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for staff at this time? This is a public hearing. At this time, we'll open up for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board, please do so at this time. Seeing no movement, we will close the public hearing and return to the board.
Mr. Chairman, move approval.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
There's a second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. With that, next item.
We have to open up the public hearing for item 7B3, please.
We'll just do it. Okay. We're going to open up the public hearing for item 7B3. Anyone wishing to address the board, please do so. Again, seeing no movement, we'll close public comment, return to the board. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, move approval of Resolution 82.
Second.
We have motion for Resolution 2013-82. Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We'll return to item 4. It's public comment for 213-21. Anyone wishing to address the board? No movement. We'll return to the board. Close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve in a second.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Final item, resolution.
Yes, item 7B4 and B5 are for a future land use map amendment and a concurrent rezoning for the Lakewood Park Regional Park located off of Emerson Road just north of Indria Road. The amendments are for the 36-acre active recreational portion of the park, which currently has a community pool and sporting complex. The purpose of these items is to bring the future land use and zoning of the property into consistency with its existing active recreational use. No operational changes are being proposed, so again, these items can be considered housekeeping items. This slide shows item B4 as a future land use map amendment from residential urban, allowing up to 5 dwelling units per acre to public facilities. And item B5 is a concurrent rezoning from agricultural, allowing 1 unit per acre to institutional. And so in order to bring the property into consistency with its current public recreational use, staff is recommending adoption of the future land use map and the concurrent rezoning. So item 7B4 for the ordinance and 7B5 for the resolution.
This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to address the board on these 2 items, please feel free to do so at this time. Seeing no movement, that was for both of those items. Close public comment. 2 separate motions. We have for B4. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Chairman, just for I thought we already voted on 4.
I thought we voted for as well, but staff jumped back to that one, so I wanted to make sure that we worked in unison.
Yes, sir. I think we did vote on 4, so the motion would be for B5.
B5.
Is there a motion?
There's a motion.
We have a motion. Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I think your confusion came in as you said all 4 items. And so when you were on B2, that took 4 items, and so people were counting 4 items moving forward. And so then when we got to item 4, it already seemed...
Oh, it was B2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, we're all right.
Thank you.
We're doing good.
All right.
And well.
Mr. Satterley.
Mr. Chairman, just if I could real quickly, the little bit of confusion there at the end notwithstanding, I would like to thank Britton and all of the staff for the amazing amount of work that the GIS staff and all of the staff has done in untangling and organizing all of this stuff, because it's, even though it is housekeeping, it's been extremely time consuming, and making sure that everything is done properly and correctly, and the advertising, and they've just done a really great job, and I just wanted to make sure they got acknowledged for that. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. With that, that concludes our public comment portion. There are no regular agenda items. We'll return to the announcement portion of the meeting.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, I would like support in naming Joel Armstrong, player, to the Library Advisory Board as my appointee.
We have a motion for an appointment to finish out one of Mr. Commissioner Zadowski's appointments. Is there a second?
Second.
Our motion.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if we're going to do that, then I also would request ratification to ratify Kara Wood as my appointee to the Historical Commission. I find I'm missing someone on that board.
Move approval.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Any other motions? Wonderful. Comments, announcements. I know we have a big one with Renegade Aircraft grand opening that will be taking place this Saturday out at 3150 Airman's Drive out at our airport. That'll begin at noon. There are also a couple other items noted in the agenda packet. Master Gardener Spring and Gardening Festival will be held on Saturday, May 11th from 8 until 2 at the Extension Office there on Pecos Road. County offices will also be closed on Monday, May the 27th to observe Memorial Day. And then the Board of County Commissioners will be holding the 2013 Strategic Planning Session in June the 12th through the 14th at the Fenn Center. Any other comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to acknowledge and thank the Roundtable of St. Lucie and all the participants who helped sponsor Phil Chalmers coming to St. Lucie County to give our children in the school system an understanding about bullying and how to combat it, and a lot of good information about what happens in schools with bullying. And of course, this board for your support in helping bring Phil Chalmers to the Fenn Center last week. And we had probably approached, I'm going to say 1,400 individuals between the school and the event at the Fenn Center with Phil Chalmers' message about bullying. And it was an eye-opener. Some of the things were very difficult to look at, listen to, but it was a wake-up call that these things are happening in our communities around the nation. And I just want to again say thank you to this board for your support. Ms. Outlaw, you and your staff, the Fenn Center did a fabulous job. And of course the school district for helping support and have the children attend the assemblies throughout the day. 4 attempts at reaching the children and the community, and I just want to say thank you to the fire district, the sheriff's department, Port St. Lucie Police Department, Fort Pierce Police Department, and of course Waste Pro was our major contributor to support that. Children's Services Council, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, Universal Signs, for helping support and sponsor that event. So again, just thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Outlaw?
No, sir.
Mr. McIntyre?
No, sir.
Comments from the board?
Just want to make a quick comment. With that said as well, we want to thank you for engaging Phil Chalmers to come because our kids do need it, and they're in a proposition. We do have some local gangs here, and we're dealing with some of those issues, and they should have been there. The family should have brought their kids there. So hope it's not the last, and I hope you continue in that process because I know how it is. I've been to the schools myself all across the United States, and it's not easy. And it's not easy for parents to raise kids these days.
Mm-hmm.
But every help that we can get, it's an edge for them to have so they can get over that hump. And just wanted to appreciate you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good. On just a quick positive note, we received some of our stats as it relates to our housing and some of the things that are happening on that front, getting some very good signs, good indicators. You know, the City of Port St. Lucie mentioned that they had their best January, February, March, and April individually and collectively for building permits and housing stats, so they were very encouraged by that. In fact, they had over 1,800 permits in the month of April just out of their building department. That was all the permits. Their business licenses are up 110% from last year, and everything from foreclosures have greatly diminished. They showed that out of about 465 single-family sales that occurred in the month of April, about 235 of those were cash sales, so a significant number of cash sales that are occurring in the marketplace. So I think we're seeing some really positive signs that are occurring in our area, and the numbers all appear to be on their way up, so that's been great. In fact, 4.2 months of supply. For those that attended the EDC luncheon today, there was a great economist that was talking about some of the things that are happening nationally. Yep. And we're actually now above the nation as it relates to our inventory. So I should say we're below that, but at 4.2 months of supply. Last year we were at 9.6 months of supply at the exact same time last year. So we've dropped. We have about 1,700 total units in the inventory compared to about 3,400 units last time.
And that really equates to bringing values back. I think that's important to a lot of people, especially those at home that are upside down by no fault of their own. So let's just continue to hope on the values to come back. So that's
well, and the value, speaking of that, $111,000 was the single-family median home price last year in April. We're now at $126,000 for the median home price 1 year later. So we're seeing values increase. So it's one where some people say, oh, yeah, the market, we don't have as many homes available in the market, but then the prices are probably really low. No, the prices are actually going up. But we're going to begin to see, I think, more encouraging signs as we move forward. So. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll follow that up. I had recently spoke with Workforce Development, and I think you've been privy to this report that came out when they just held their last job fair. In comparison to the year before, they had only, I think he said it was 30 vendors, employers that were looking to hire. This time they tripled the number and they were over 90, with over 1,500 people that had come in, and many people were getting hired right on the spot. So I think that too goes along with the curve of maybe we're starting to come back just a little bit better. So it does look brighter.
Good. I think so. I'm encouraged, so that's great. Staff, I think I've made it perhaps through the meeting. First time full electronic, and little hiccups. It's trying to get the computer to open up at the same time for some of the exhibits. So paperless, if that's where things are headed, I'm trying. Anyway, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
The Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County provides funding to over 50 programs that reach more than 30,000 local children every year. They promote healthy children, strong families, and a safer community. And these programs are for
families like yours,
people just like you,
all children in St. Lucie County.
To learn more and hear success stories, visit cscslc.org.
Each year, hundreds of young adults living on the Treasure Coast find themselves homeless when they turn 18. Some age out of the foster care system, no longer eligible for support through the state.